Good afternoon. Uko harigani. Welcome to our monthly show. Let the people be. But the topic of today, it's a topic which is dear to my heart. It's about our African continent. Our African continent, since the times of the white or the imperialists, when they came and they left, we were given the mandate or the power to rule ourselves. But now 70 years, still the problems of disease, of unemployment, of corruption is still on us. Also on the issue of corruption, just recently WikiLeaks published a report where it said that over 1.4 trillion US dollars since 1980 to 2002 has been looted from Africa and transferred to offshore accounts in Switzerland. Also, AU, an African Union report, 2002, stated that over 150 billion is stolen every year through the means of corruption. Today on our show, we are lucky to have once again Mr. Bernard here, whom I'm going to request. You can introduce yourself, Bernard, to our viewers there.
My name is Bernard Jude. I'm a student in the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. I'm taking BA of Justice and Peace in the final year. And I've been involved in this because I have learned a lot concerning the issue of justice and peace. And we are looking forward to do the implementation of what we have been learning so that we can be able to close the gap between the theory and the practice. Thank you so much.
So Bernard, let me ask you, what's wrong with this beloved continent of ours? We hear of leaders refusing to give powers. They're still almost 30 years in power. We hear corruption cases, we hear unemployment, we hear people dying in the Mediterranean Sea because of searching for green pasture. What's wrong with our continent?
The biggest question that we should ask ourselves is who has given a mandate to lead the others? We are seeing that each and every country has got their leaders, but and these are the duty bearers, and the remaining rights of the right holders, we are the citizen. Therefore, the first answer is that we are co-authors of the problem, because the leadership that we have is relatively the representation of the whole society. But the biggest responsibilities belongs or remains with the leaders, because they have been given that mandate to lead the rest, and they are few. But because of their selfish gains that they have been corrupted, especially in morals and ethics, we have forgotten our roots. If we can be able to embrace those ethical issues, that ethical moral standard of our African culture, I think we can have better leadership, because the current one, from north to south, from west to east, we can see that this leadership leave a lot to be desired. But if we can be able to nurture young people, because it's all about the young people, and these young people need to have ethics, because if we don't have ethics, we are not going to change the situation. The situation will remain the same. We may complain, we may do what, but if we don't change our approach to solving the problem, and maybe trusting the Western powers, the Europeans, the Americans, with our country, they are not going to bring the change. We are very happy that the Chinese are in Africa, building roads, so many things they are doing. We are like, it's like we are demeaning ourselves. But we have all these facilities, we can do it ourselves. But it's because it is a business they are doing. No, they are not much better than us. No, it's because they have they see they are gaining a lot from Africa. Therefore, the biggest problem is, we can say, it is with the leaders, because they are not acting as according to the law and maybe the constitution. But also, we can say that the citizens are not doing their participation, because we need to actively be involved in the leadership of our country. If we can have something called engaging the citizen, that can be able to change the situation at some point. But also, if we see that the situation is too big for us to change, it's up for each and everybody to act, but we are not encouraging violence, because we have seen what violence has done in the past. Because young people are attracted to violence a lot, but we encourage the new generation which believe that violence will not solve the problem. It will breed more violence. We have seen what is happening in this DRC, Central African Republic. We are seeing what is happening in West Africa. South Africa, they are suffering from xenophobia. All these things is about violence, thinking that they want to change the situation. Yes, we need the change, but we have the only solution or the only method is non-violence, and that's why we are promoting active non-violence wherever we go as justice and peace student and activist. And as we are, because we have to involve in the leadership, we cannot complain in the street. No, that's not enough. We need to get into those positions of power and influence the decision that is being made by, we be the decision makers. Because if they cannot do, we are going to do it. But also we need to take very measures, very big measures on how we do things. We need to go step by step. Change is a very slow process, but it is possible. I think we can change we still have that hope. If we don't have hope, Africa will not rise. But if hope, which keep us moving day by day, we are going to get to our dreams of freedom, the true freedom. But we need to have that mental emancipation, bringing that the Chinese, the Americans from the US, the donors from Britain, the influence of Russia. We have seen what they have done in the East, in our brothers, in the Muslim brothers countries. What they have done in the name of peacekeeping, in the name of negotiation, in the name of business. But they are changing, they are destroying their countries, the countries of our brothers and sisters in Muslim faith. But the point is, nobody will do for us. Nobody will change Africa for us. It is we. There is nothing for us without us.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for answering that question. The way I heard you speaking is that you have narrowed the problem about Africans into two main: bad leadership and Western influence. Let me give you some facts here. Gaddafi, you know Gaddafi, the Libyan leader, he was overthrown by NATO forces. Also, our headquarters in Addis Ababa of African Union was built free of charge by the Chinese. Also, we have issues of 60% of African budget comes from the European Union. So, do you see a correlation of the Western influence? And remember that our money, which is rooted by our leaders, it is stashed there in their countries where they do business with it. And also remember this Western, the influence of Western, it all started way back when they came here and took our raw materials. Remember the slave trade, and now the bad leaders. So, in your conclusion, what can you say as Africans we really need to do for us to come out from this slavery or the chains of bad leadership and Western influence? What will it take us to become like the Asian giants, the countries like Singapore, countries like South Korea? What will it take our African citizens to be that way?
Okay, I think the most basic thing or the fundamental thing we need to do is we need to be liberated from our minds. We need to change our mindset. We need to know who we are as African. We need to know our roots. We need to know, and this root I'm talking about is our abilities, our capabilities, where we have come from. Because you see, the African history and the civilization has been interfered with by the slave trade and by the colonization of Africa, and this thing has affected the African in a very big way. Until we liberate ourselves from that mindset that we cannot do our own things without the power of the West and the European, only then can we be able to see to look forward. And another thing we need to do is we need to remember how our founding fathers, especially in the academic field, this guy from Senegal, the Diouf, talked about the African Renaissance. We need to rediscover our abilities. We need to discover our origin as African, our approach to way of doing things. As I said earlier, that Africa will not be changed by the Chinese. It will not be changed by the Americans. It will not be changed by the UK, by the Britain. or the other European. As you talked about the Chinese building the AU headquarters, and the 60% coming from European Union, to some extent, or to some extent, it means that African Union is a dog without biting teeth.
True.
Yeah, it is a dog which is just barked. It is barking all now and then. But the people behind it are the one who fights, because you know the biggest stakeholder or the shareholder has the power to bang the table during the meetings. Therefore, even if the African people, African leaders, we can see the young man Mugabe and his younger brother Museveni, they talk how Africa need to be independent, how we are independent, but these people are not acting. And that's why I'm saying we need to have young people who believe like a Pan-Africa, who believe that Africa can go back to its original position. If you can go back about one decade ago after the freedom and the independence, we could see people like Nkrumah, people like Julius Nyerere, people like Kenyatta, people like Kaunda of Zambia, Nelson Mandela, people who believed in Africa, people who are believing that Africa can walk on its own path. Because we need to have a clear picture of where we want to go as Africa. Because if these decisions are being made in European Union boardroom, and then they are imported here in Africa to be implemented in the Addis Ababa, in the AU headquarters, it's like they give solution to us, they create problem, and they suggest solution, and then they buy our leaders. These are given money in the name of development. They do a lot of business, and these things they are saying is free. The so-called international aid, they are not grants. Their aid is a loan. It's only they don't want to put that name loan. Their aid, they bring, they sweeten the term. But this money, if like in Kenya, about 79,000, you are adopted when you are born, or every Kenyan, we have a 79,000 debt that we have as a country to international countries. Therefore, I think we need to have, as I was saying about earlier, about the liberation of our mind, we need to work. We can be able to compare ourselves and the Chinese, how they developed without the American or without the other powers. We can also do the same. And we could see it happening in Arabia by our beloved, the late beloved Muammar Gaddafi. Yes, he was a dictator, but for me, I see him as a benevolent dictator. Not like the Robert Mugabe, who claimed to be a patriotic, yet the people are dying in hunger. We see the other young man, Museveni, saying that he has been there for more than 30 years. But if you compare the situation of that country and the other countries, it is leaving a lot of questions. Therefore, we need to rethink and reshape our thinking and see that Africa is, and nobody we're going to do it, is we, the people.
Wow. What a powerful remarks there. So my question is Africa a toothless bulldog, as our guest here, Mr. Bernard, has said? Is there any hope for Africa? My answer, I think, yes, we are heading somewhere. Let me give you some interesting facts about Africa. The top 10 countries in the world with the youngest people are from Africa. 30 African countries will be middle income countries by 2013. The rate of urbanization in Africa is the highest in the world, and the best innovators are in Africa. A good example being the M-Pesa, innovation. So, as we conclude our show for today, let the people be. I just want to reiterate what the guest has said today about issue of leadership. It's high time that leaders be responsible to the office and also for the citizen, to make sure that the leaders are accountable and do what they're supposed to do. And as I conclude my show, I just want to give special thanks, some shout out to the producer and to the cameraman of this show, Samuel Minor, where you are, and also to some of the organization which I deal with, Amnesty International, Big Up, and also Freedom House, and change.org. Also Fahamu Africa and Justice and Peace Integration of Africa. So until next time, ciao and peace be with you. Thank you so much.